Halloween night. For a kid, there's nothing better. The air is crisp, the moon is bright, and the promise of candy fills every rustle of leaves. In Salem, Massachusetts, a town already steeped in spooky history, Halloween takes on a life of its own. Back in 2003, for a group of 4 friends, Liam, Maya, Chloe, and Noah, was supposed to be the best night of the year. Dressed as a vampire, a ghost, a witch, and a werewolf, they roamed the familiar streets, their laughter echoing through the twilight. Their bags grew heavy with treats, a treasure trove of chocolate and sour gummies. They were a team, a fearless pack of candy hunters, and they had a system. They would hit every single house on every single street in their neighborhood. Every house, except one. It stood at the end of Cobblestone Lane, a dark, hulking Victorian that seemed to soak up the moonlight rather than reflect it. Number 1313. The paint was peeling like sunburnt skin, the windows were dark. Vacant eyes, and a gnarled, leafless oak tree in the front yard looked like a skeletal hand reaching for the sky. No lights, no jack-o'-lanterns, no bowl of candy left on the porch. The rule among the neighborhood kids was simple. You don't go to Old Man Blackwood's house. You just don't. But this year was different. Liam, always the bravest, the self-proclaimed leader of their group, was feeling bold. "We've hit every other house," he declared, his plastic vampire fangs clicking. "We can't claim a perfect run if we skip one. It's the final boss." Maya, dressed as a shimmering ghost, shivered, and it wasn't from the cold. "No way, Liam. My older brother said no one has seen Mr. Blackwood in years. The house is empty." "Exactly." Liam grinned. "So what's the harm? It's probably not even locked. Quick knock, no answer, we move on. But we have to try." Chloe, the witch, adjusted her pointy hat, her face uncertain. "I don't know. It feels wrong." Noah, the werewolf, who was the youngest and usually the most cautious, surprisingly sided with Liam. The thrill of the dare was infectious. "Come on, it'll be our biggest dare ever. We'll be legends." The debate was short. Peer pressure, mixed with a sugar-fueled surge of courage, won out. Hesitantly, the 4 friends crept up the cracked flagstone path. The air grew colder, the happy sounds of other trick-or-treaters fading into a dull, distant hum. All they could hear now was the crunch of their own footsteps on dead leaves and the frantic beating of their own hearts. The porch groaned under their combined weight. A thick layer of dust and grime covered everything. Liam, puffing out his chest, stepped forward to the massive oak door. It was adorned with a heavy, iron knocker shaped like a snarling gargoyle. He hesitated for just a second, looking back at his friends, their faces pale in the dim light. Then, he took a deep breath, grabbed the cold metal ring, and lifted it. Knock, knock, knock. The sound was shockingly loud in the oppressive silence. It seemed to reverberate not just through the door, but through the very ground beneath their feet. They waited. 1 second, 2, 5, nothing. Just silence. Liam let out a relieved laugh. "See? Nothing. Empty. Let's go." He turned to leave, but as he did, a sound from inside the house froze him in place. Knock, knock, knock. It was a perfect echo of his own knock. Deep, hollow, and deliberate. Coming from the other side of the door. The 4 of them stared, eyes wide with terror. It wasn't the wind. It wasn't a loose shutter. It was a reply. A cold dread, far more terrifying than any haunted house or scary movie, washed over them. Maya let out a small, terrified squeak. "Did you guys hear that?" Noah whispered, his voice trembling. Before anyone could answer, the gargoyle door knocker lifted on its own. Slowly, creakily, it rose up, and then slammed down against its plate. Bam! It was a single, deafening knock, so powerful it made them all jump back. This was no echo. This was a command, a warning. Run! Liam screamed, his bravado completely shattered. They didn't need to be told twice. They scrambled off the porch, tripping over their own feet in a blind panic. They sprinted down the path, not daring to look back, their candy bags bouncing wildly and spilling a trail of sweets behind them. They ran and ran, past the cheerful lit-up houses, their lungs burning, their minds screaming. They didn't stop until they were huddled together under the familiar glow of a streetlight several blocks away, gasping for air. They looked at each other, their faces a mixture of fear and disbelief. What was that? Chloe sobbed, clutching her witch's broom like a lifeline. I don't know, Liam panted, his face ashen. I don't want to know. They made a pact right then and there, never to speak of it again. Never to go back to Cobblestone Lane. The next morning, the sun rose on a quiet Salem street littered with candy wrappers. A police car was parked in front of 1313 Cobblestone Lane. A small crowd of concerned neighbors had gathered. A frantic mother was talking to an officer, her face streaked with tears. She was explaining that her son, Noah, hadn't come home last night. She thought he was at a friend's sleepover, but he wasn't. No one had seen him since he went trick-or-treating. The officer, trying to calm her, scanned the property. And then he saw it. There, lying neatly folded on the dusty top step of the porch, right in front of the heavy oak door, was a small, child-sized werewolf costume. There were no footprints in the dust around it. No sign of a struggle. Just the costume, a few scattered pieces of candy, and an empty trick-or-treat bag. The door was closed, locked, and the house was silent, as if it were holding its breath, waiting for next Halloween. The official report would later state that the boy likely ran away, but the other kids knew better. They knew the truth, a truth they were now too terrified to ever share. They knew what happened when you knocked on a door that was never meant to be answered, because some doors have a way of opening themselves, and they don't always let you leave. Thank you so much for watching. What do you think happened to Noah? Let me know your theories down in the comments. If you enjoyed this story, please hit that like button, and consider subscribing for more tales from the shadows. Stay safe out there.